What's up, Internet? I want to complain about my mom. I was thinking about it, and it's like time away from her has brought a lot of what happened in perspective. Um, she's There's this thing in history where poor people hate each other. A lot of poor families have really poor family ties because uh, the poverty brings a lot of bad blood, and we're no different. Um, she was a cheater. She wanted male attention a lot. She would like lust after guys in front of my dad. Um, she didn't believe in that for me though. She had me circumcised and would often humiliate me or leave me circumstances that left me alone, unable to know a woman. Um, Really, she was like just a horrible person. Like, you go with circumcision and then you go with forcing your kids to do everything the government wants. And then on the side, you're cheating, right? My brother one time ran home from school and the janitor chased him and he held the janitor off with a hose. Yeah. She had her dad euthanized. She likes using things like the law and medical authority to corner people. Um, I think she often poisoned me. I know women get those, like, they get advice from other people on how to punish people without getting caught. And there were so many times it was like she would taunt me for eating food, like, you're going to regret it, or she would, there'd be like ice cream, but it had been thawed and refrozen. It didn't look like it was like frozen straight home. It looked like it had been thawed and then refrozen, and it would like make me violently ill, right? So she just wasn't a good person. When I accused my dad, because he was also a circumciser, of being a pedo, it's true he didn't like get a boner, but he's a pedo in the sense that he does what the pedophiles want. He is on their side. All the things they believe and all the things they want to do, he's into. And as soon as I accused him of being a pedo, she was out. She was leaving his ass that second, taking him to court. I used to think that she was really noble for not asking for child support. Now I realize that she did ask for child support. She just didn't want to seem like she was a money grubber. She knows she circumcised me, and so to prevent from getting sued, she has paid off her house equity just to the limit that's protected by the law. And she's done all sorts of things like denied association with me, denied I'm the same person. She's even said I'm not even her real son, all that stuff. Yeah, it sucked. I remember so many just like terrible feelings about that family and being home. And now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, that was miserable. They were basically nobody losers. And a lot of people who are there can't fool me. There's a lot of people who have like bad families, no economic status, no social status, and they're loyal to people who hate them, like the government or the church. That's a nobody family. You could be without that and be loyal to each other, and then that's stronger. But they didn't have that. They didn't have that at all. Oh yeah, God said circumcise him. I don't care if he screams. You're gonna do what the rules say. Forcing kids to go through school, forcing kids to do homework. She used to, every day I saw her, she had all the problems she thought I'd hear about. You know, they never gave us any money because we would use it to buy drugs, right? Being with them is like, imagine someone watches TV and believes all of it and goes, you better not, all the time. I hated it. I did. My last name can't be pronounced Height. It technically means by the hedge. I'm another Bush. Um, my ancestors lived by a hedge, and that was what was notable about them. And so we kept the name by the hedge. Um, yeah. I definitely got into like deep mysticism, like obviously psychedelics, obviously like uh, entity channeling, mystery parties, which get fascinating. I used to read tarot in a booth. I stopped because I saw I couldn't really help anybody. My existential problems were theirs as well. Um, but yeah, this is just like for history. My mom was an incredibly difficult person to know. She had her dad euthanized. Like, you know what hospice is? Hospice is where they lock them in a place and they give them drugs so they're high, but they deny them food and water. They basically are just going to starve you out, make you feel euphoric, and then deny you water until you fucking pass away. She was cruel. She was in Anna too. She used to do like severe dieting, forcing us to do competitive sports. I hated every sport I had to play: basketball, baseball, swimming. I haven't done any of them or watched them a moment when it was my choice. When I had the choice of what to do, I haven't done any of them. And I complained. I said, I don't like this. I don't want to do this. They didn't care, right? Um, I said I wanted to be an actor. They moved me right out of Los Angeles. No, you don't get to be an actor. We had an uncle with Emmys, right? Nah, everyone wants. My dad goes, no one ever made me an actor. My parents were getting revenge for how they were treated. It is like funny. I remember them when I was a kid, like really young, is like, all right, we went through this, so you know you're gonna hate it. And I go like, we hated it when we went through it. I'm like, so does that mean you're not doing it to me? No, no, no. That means they're doing it to me. It's revenge now, right? Now it's their time to get it out, right? Slave stuff. The government has compelled us to do this, and we're not going to argue. So yeah, my mom's never apologized for circumcision. My mom taught me to apologize early and expected it often, but as she has never apologized to me. She won't apologize for anything ever. So yeah, she sucked. She was a cheater who liked sleeping with and getting the attractions of other men, even in important relationships, and then denying her son the ability to do that, like with judgment, right? Like, just a total hypocrite. Her laugh sucks. She had a nose job. Like, she's just so stupid. I don't like her. Yeah. Poor people hate their parents. Like, if your parents are modest, humble looking, i.e., ugly, and you have to labor as a child so you have things, just don't have kids. Do you have to work constantly to have anything? Don't have kids. Nobody wants to be you. You're not passing on anything anyone enjoys, right? The human's inability to figure out free energy does not mean that you should just make more of them. That's the way it is, right? So, yeah. My mom was a really difficult lady. She's still alive, but she's like 70. So, she's gotten worse. She got my age wrong and she said all these like common phrases that she totally misspelled. I remember her telling me when I was a kid that this was the first time she'd ever had a long conversation with anyone. Yeah, that she and I had talked when I was really young. I remember it was like maybe like 40 minutes to an hour just locked in a room. And she said it was the longest she had ever talked to anyone. I believe it. You know, she's got her mom was Nazi Hitler Youth, and another anorexic. The house is clean all the time. And they're like nice, happy, smiling, but it's fake. Right? The nice porcelain dishes on the walls. Yeah. I guess the positive side is they gave me something to rebel against. That's why I chose the name Hate. I'm just like, I despise who they are. I despise how they treat me. I despise what they think is cool. I despise who they trust. I despise what they do and what they think is normal. I hate them. I do. I'm trying to make a generation of people who will replace you and replace people like them. The people who challenge what I do on a daily. I'm not hoping to convince them. I'm hoping that the people who hate them too will replace them. You know, they could have been like, oh yeah, we got Rusty. We'll get Kit Chris into acting. That would have been cool. That would have been a great use of my time. Oh yeah, well, we hate circumcision because it's genital mutilation. We won't do it to you. You don't have to do any sports you don't want to do. What do you want to do? We'll do that. That would have been really awesome instead. Well, your dad did this. That was exactly who my dad was. My dad's an idiot. He works for the government. The only way he knows how to make money is making war weapons for the government. And he he was an ego. He thought he was really cool. He has no idea he's the slave of the pedos. He's always at church, bowed and closing his eyes, trying his hardest, right? He has no idea he's a slave for the real government. So he played baseball, so I had to play baseball. He swam, so I had to swim, and all that stuff. And one day, he's like, what should I get your mom for her birthday? And I was like, honestly, pots and pans and a vacuum cleaner. I convinced him to do that because it's the pattern. He goes along with cruelty. She doesn't want that. She wants something that's going to make her feel high status. That makes her feel like a slave. So that's why I suggested it. And then right after that happened, I was like, he's a pedo. I told her that. And the relationship was over. He was a pedo. He supported the circumcision of his youth. That's something pedophiles concocted. And there were two girls who lived across the street from us who were my brothers and my age. And I was like, these are our girlfriends. They're cosmic girlfriends. They're hot. I like them. They like me. Nah, those were Steven's girlfriends. Those girls were across the street for him. You see, that's like Elon going to Mars to escape Errol. So, yeah. Humans got it bad. You live and die. Most people have to toil. Most people are riddled with parasites, including the real government. They're saying that they don't even say you're going to feel good and have a nice life. They just say, get used to suffering. Because that's what they have planned. So yeah, I thought my parents were contemptible because they had kids to experience love. They would go, I want love too. I don't got any love to give you. My mom would go she would rub us and go no, do me, right? She's wants it back. And I never did. And she's just but you circumcised us. You circumcised us and then you freaking forbid us from touching and knowing anyone. Now you want physical love and affection? I can't give that to you. You've ruined too much. So yeah, I didn't have kids to spare them. I'm glad I didn't have kids. I've had chances to have kids and I said no. I said that would be a huge mistake. They would suffer and hate me. And I still think that's true. I think that I basically spared them a nightmarish life. The government says this is the only place and the sky's a dome and you can't leave and all that. It's not true. There's infinite. I think the cosmos is infinite. I think if you go far enough, it's always more stuff. So infinite can mean not defined. It doesn't have to mean unlimitedly big, but it does in this case. Yeah. It's kind of weird to have a positive word for something like infinite and have it in the negative, not finite. I need to wrap this up so the video can upload. But yeah, that's my mom. She goes, because I don't like circumcision and I'm talking to her about it, she goes, you're on drugs, you're taking drugs. And then right in that same sentence, she goes, you should see a doctor and get medicated. Well, I know her, she just has this doctor fetish, doctor fantasy. She wants to go to my doctors. She wants to use my hookup through the VA. She does. She wants to visit the VA too. I said no. You can't even admit circumcision's a crime. She's blaming me for not liking it. She's just like all those arrogant people I talk to online about it. So many people are just like, they can't see you mutilated your kid's genitals because the printed book told you to. They don't get what time that is. They have no idea. They're like, so it's good? No, it's not at all. So anyway, yeah, my parents and my family were tough to deal with. The pain came from wanting it to be different, and the pain came from trusting them. And the moment I started hating them, it started getting a lot better, because it's the right context for history. That's who they really were to myself and others. How do you go restricting your son from knowing people and then just date a bunch of random dudes? She's disgusting.